Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the No Way But Up podcast. My name is Marvel Bishop, your host. Thank you so much for the YouTube viewership, for the SoundCloud family, for pretty much for listening. Happy Sunday, and usually on a Sunday, people will love to brunch. People will actually like to, have libations and basically maybe just enjoy themselves. But I always, even though I do like those things, I always like to enjoy myself in different ways. And there's no other way to spend my Sunday with not only one of my big brothers, not only one of my mentors, but just a really great friend and a great businessman in the space of Miami. That Brandon guy.
Blop, blop.
It's blop. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that.
Blop,
blop, blop.
Blop, blop.
Ain't no, listen, man. Ain't no blop when it comes to you, man. That Brandon guy.
I didn't think you heard me, so.
I already know how this freaking podcast is gonna go. That Brandon guy, Mr. Asa P. Seeley. My brother, how you doing?
I am fine. P is for Paul.
Okay, I did not know if you wanted to put out your full government out there.
Of course. See, 2019 is the year for sharing, right? We share to inspire. So if at any time that the name Paul would inspire someone to name their child Paul this year, might be something good for that kid,
Yeah, that's definitely true.
So I don't know. But, just embrace every opportunity.
Listen, man, I want to really thank you for taking your time out on this Sunday to really sit down and chat with me. But we always do chat. But I'm really glad.
Yeah, but not really on a Sunday though.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Try to kind of get a break from
from me.
Tall buildings on a weekend.
Exactly, tall giants basically. Next time, put my head in the picture. So I really want to get into Asa Paul, the journey of him, and. There's a lot to unpack here. I'm just really fond of you, man, because there's just a lot of things about you that a lot of people don't know. And it's like entrepreneurship pretty much, it doesn't really define you, but it's pretty much who you are as a person. So before that, I'm always the type of person where I like to go back and see how everything pretty much, transitions to the person that you are today. So a lot of people don't even know that you were actually in the promoting business before the entrepreneurship. So I really wanted you to really touch upon that, and how did that get you into the entrepreneur realm and owning, all these entities that you have right now?
Well, first off, thanks for having me, my brother.
Absolutely, man.
And the feeling is mutual when it comes to being inspired by the energies that you surround yourself with. Myself coming up from Trinidad as a 17-year-old, really on a mission to just kind of like escape the grasps of my parents, in a real traditional type, household setting. I came up here on a soccer scholarship, and I got an opportunity to see the world. And I say see the world jokingly because I came to Miami, and seeing the world wasn't actually, it doesn't mean me traveling around. It was really about me being able to interact with so many different cultures in one space, and which was basically new to me, opening up myself to embracing different perspectives, different methods to the madness, and just basically an entirely different mindset, or at least the understanding that there was something else. And going through college, I played soccer, and I took advantage of whatever opportunities I had. I leveraged it, even if it meant telling the girl that I was on the soccer team to get that number. I was always leveraging, So I got an opportunity back in 1999 when I was very unfamiliar with the hip hop scene and circuit, but I got an opportunity back in 1999 to move to Miami Beach. And for those that knew me back then, even while I was in college, I used to only take short-term leases when I got an apartment, and I would do 6 months. I got tired of places and spaces and people really quickly, and I would always just be jumping around, right? So, I mean, I've lived in Aventura, I've lived in Sunny Isles Beach, I've lived on Williams Island, I've lived in Kendall, I've lived down on Caribbean Boulevard, I've lived on Sunsets, I've lived on the beach, I've lived
Everywhere,
in
pretty
Miami
much.
Lakes, I've lived in 163rd, I've lived in North Miami, now I'm, in closer to the beach on
Yeah.
North Beach,
Nah, absolutely.
so it's I just came from downtown, so I've experienced Miami in terms of living in different cultures and communities. Lived in Doral, so I was around all the Venezuelans and Brazilians. I sold real estate in that area as well. So it really gave me an opportunity to understand different perspectives. And back in '99, when I was on Miami Beach, I got an opportunity to work for the great Russell Simmons from Def Jam. And Russell Simmons back then was opening his store Fat Farm on Miami Beach, and I had a little bit of a retail, you know, background, some experience, and I interviewed for the job, and I think that might have been my only job in the U.S. outside of
Ever.
working for my dad. Yeah, outside of working for my dad, in and that was in retail. Um, well, I wouldn't say that was my only job. Retail was my only job. I was always in fashion and in that space while I was going through college. So I bounced between working in a retail store and waiting tables or bartending. So those outside of soccer, that's basically what I was doing. And when I got a chance to work for Russell, I got an opportunity to interact now with a lot of celebrities and movie stars and rappers and singers and entertainers as they came into the beach because Fat Farm was pretty big back then. That was around Fat Farm and Fubu and those guys. So he had his boutique on Miami Beach, and I got to meet Mos Def and Talib and Diddy and
Wow.
J Lo and like all of these people
Oh,
used
even
to come
Diddy.
to the store. Yeah, they used to come to the
Holy
store all the
shit.
time.
Okay.
Marlon Wayans. We used to have to close the store for these guys. They would come in. But also, I met all of the street guys because Fat Farm was a street brand. So you had all of the dope boys coming in there from with their stacks large on a Friday before they go to Wet Willie's. They come to Fat Farm and they just blow stacks. So I got an opportunity to interact with the stars and then the streets, and I found my happy medium in between. And when the promoters came to the store to drop off their flyers and stuff like that, I started to build relationships with them. And one of the first guys that actually got me to consider doing something was Peter Thomas. And Peter was back then doing an event on the beach called How Can I Be Down? And How Can I Be Down was like a revolt.
What year was this?
This was 99, 98, 99.
Okay.
And this was when it's like a revolt.
Okay.
That music conference.
Got it.
Same formula. But how can I be down back then was Peter Thomas. That's what he produced on Miami Beach, and it was a huge event. I started to do some stuff in the streets with him, from handing out flyers, and he just got me engaged. And then I met one of the big promoters on Miami Beach back then, club promoters. His name was Carl B. And Carl used to run Fat Black Pussycat on Monday
This
night.
is way before my time.
At Liquid.
Yeah, I was in New York at this
Liquid is Pacello's.
revolution.
Yeah. Liquid
Shout
is
out to
Pacello's spot on the beach. It was right opposite what you guys would know as Cameo now.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, that's where we used to.
So it was that spot opposite. I think there's a clothing store there. It was upstairs and downstairs, two-story place. And you used to have to enter through the alley in the back. They had a hip-hop room that opened at 2 a.m. Like, it was really dope. And Carl, I got into that life. And I started to go out with Carl and that was the same group that did home cooking down at Rain on 24th with Conrad and Angel and all of those guys. They've been rocking together since then. And so between Colby, Peter Thomas, my affiliation with Fat Farm, one of my friends at FIU, I had left Barry and St. Thomas University then, and I ended up at FIU for my last 2 years. And one of my friends at FIU heard what I was doing and said, hey, I need to introduce you to somebody on the radio station at FIU, because they wanted access to the artist. And they felt that I was that plug. And so I went into the radio station and I met this guy, Dennis Semp, who was the promotions director at that time, and Irie was the general manager. And it was a really good time for FIU radio. We were an AM station, and back then it was pretty cool on campus to be part of the radio station fraternity. So they invited me on. I came on to the executive board of the FIU radio station that time. So I got a chance to work with Irie. And
DJ Irie.
yeah, and a lot of influential people from the college to the Entice. They were all part of that revolution in FIU back at that time. You know, I remember Entice sitting in the Graham Center on the chairs, all of us around lunchtime, just chilling, you know, and we all had that love for music. I used to actually DJ back then at lunchtime in the GC area, in the pit, we used to call it. And as the promotions director for the radio station, I used to take out the turntables, had my vinyl, and out there, you know, providing entertainment for the students. Back then, I remember missing a lot of classes, you know, because I wanted
As
to
we
DJ,
all do.
you know. So it was in Trinidad, we call it pips. And it was my pips back in school because I was that dude, you know. I had the plug outside of school. I was running with a lot of big guys on Miami Beach. I knew the influential people.
That's why you connect with big guys right now, right?
You know,
Okay.
always. I always try to look up.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, that's why I keep tall people around me, and I'm kind of pretty happy that I'm 5'9", you know. So constantly keeps me in the mode that I need to be in to progress, you know, so I'm always looking up. But anyway, back to that leveraging that relationship at FIU. As the promotions director, I started to get a lot of contacts with the big radio stations, big concert promoters. Did stuff with Alonzo Mornings, How Can I Be Down? That was Zoe's Summer Groove. It was back in the summer back then.
Oh, wow.
At American Airlines Arena. You know, was on the floor. It was really a great experience for a college student, and I think that's what really gave me the taste and actually opened my eyes to something that came really natural to me because it was really effortless, and I really felt like I wasn't working, but I was collecting checks at that time, you know, and people were paying me to do stuff. And then I started to throw parties at FIU, which translated into not having enough space for the events at FIU, and them not wanting us to have events there again because it was like a club.
Yeah.
And you know, anybody that knows FIU events, it shuts down at 2 a.m. And sometimes we still had a line outside at 2 a.m. People trying to pay $20-$30 to get into a college gig. Like it was a beautiful time at FIU. Like we definitely taught the school a lesson on letting students utilize school property to promote outside of the college campus.
Wow.
Because we had all the colleges come in. It was pretty big. And that kind of put me in a position to move out off of campus and started to do events on Miami Beach. I remember, you know, Sunday nights with Radamus. It was Club Chaos back at next to the Versace store on 8th and Washington. Sunday nights was crazy. It was lit on Sundays. Radamus had the place going. So I've been around these guys from back then. You know, I've kind of pulled myself out of the equation for some time.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
I need to get into this right now because to me, a person who's looking from the outside, and if I did not know you, if I did not know what you were doing, but if I definitely knew your past, I felt like, you know what? Wow, Asa should be like one of like the top promoters and the top party.
I don't want to call names, but yeah, for real. Like
how in the world? Which I know you'll never.
You see that's the thing, bro. Like it's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse because I feel like the good God has given me the ability to really excel in whatever I choose to excel in.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think that in me executing whatever I do, it's coming from a real genuine place.
Of course.
It's with love and it's without malice. And I think with that basis and foundation in executing anything, if you put your mind to it, he's going to give you the necessary tools to achieve whatever you need to get done. And so I've never really been one to say, oh my God, I'm so good at this. I love it so much that, this is what I'm here to do. Like,
Okay.
I'm always willing to try something else.
And to
Uh,
evolve and to,
yeah, and because I
transform
never
yourself.
know, and it's always a sign that because there was a reason I exited, because another opportunity maybe developed because of the skill sets
Of
and the
course.
tools that I got from doing what I did when I did it with who I did it. One thing with me though, I've really found it hard to tap back into those relationships. I'm not one to ask for favors.
Yeah.
I'm just not one to come to you and say, "Hey, remember me?"
Yeah,
Like,
remember back in the
that's
day,
yeah,
can
like,
you look out for me?
like
Yeah.
I will never ask you to do that. And even when I'm dealing with friends and stuff, and people will attest to this, I always try to get a check for you. Like, it's always going to be a situation where, your time is valuable. And I would hate for someone to just exploit and abuse my time based on a relationship personally. It's just not a practice that I like to entertain. And I always have to put some friends in check sometimes when they're like, hey, but that's, it's the family. I was like, yeah, but he have a family too to feed.
Yeah.
And you got to respect that because, we all have a value on each other's time. So it may not be what you might get on a regular, but it would be a consideration that, in any other circumstance, you would not have been afforded that. And I feel that that's another reason that when I call people, they answer the phone because they're like, well, he doesn't call me to
Yeah.
tell me, hi, how you doing? And shoot the shit for 20 minutes and make me kind of like waste 20 minutes of my day. He's calling me because it's something productive.
Yeah.
Like, we're about to get something that's going to benefit me and I can move forward. So I'm going to answer that call.
I think it's also the rapport and the respect and the reputation that you do have, that precedes yourself. That's the reason why when you definitely do call people, people's like, oh wow, you know what? Because like, besides you telling me about everything you've done in the past, like I've heard about you from other people from very very respectable high grounds about you.
Well, I maintain a certain level of integrity. And despite what the people that don't like me have to say, and I would love to address them. I wish I could put all of them into a room, but we might need an arena because I've been involved with so many different
That is crazy.
interactions. Because it's not like I've brought malice in from the actions, but we have to understand that when we come into a relationship initially, like it's a mutually beneficial thing. I'm going to make time for you, and you're going to make time for me if there's some sort of benefit in exchange, right? That's how it starts. I'm not saying that that's how it ends. I'm saying that along the way, that very surface type, superficial attraction either develops into something more substantial, more genuine, more authentic, that you actually give it more time and nurture it along its way. And then some of those relationships either run into some challenges that test how strong and how deep rooted that relationship actually is.
Very true.
And it's at that time that the true colors come out. So I'm not one to come back to you and want to have a conversation with you and say, you know what, you hurt me. Unfortunately, I'm not that dude. I think that I approach the situation real objectively. And I am very honest with myself to say, well, our relationship has run its course. Hopefully down the 95, maybe on Sunrise or Commercial, we might interchange again. And it's all good because I'm not going to harbor any resentment for you because every chance along the way, we never know when we're going to run back into each other.
Yeah, my grandfather always said, you should never, ever, ever burn bridges.
You can't. You understand? Honestly, I've burned some bridges, but they're bridges that hands down, like I have preserved them. I have maintained them. Those ancient bridges that people try to preserve, that is just hanging off, and they end up building a bridge next to the bridge because they just don't want to break it down. Like it's that kind of bridge that I've ended up breaking down. Like I have used it. I have twinkled, I have tiptoed across the bridge, still trying to use the bridge and give the bridge the opportunity to function in its way as a bridge. And when it just comes to that point and you've given that person so many opportunities to fix this or help you fix the bridge and the bridge is still falling apart, then you have to, as an individual, move the bridge out of the way, and erect something a little bit more sturdy and more functional, you know?
So speaking of your experiences with people, some you said you definitely had to burn some bridges, but you know that's pretty much his life. There's one thing that I admire about you, like other than many other things, is, and I've personally seen this, you know, within us, basically, you know, us developing, you know, a great friendship that we have, is that your level of diplomacy.
Diplomacy.
Yes.
People will argue that, because
Like-
people, but like at board meetings and stuff, when I sit on board meetings, like people always tell me, "Hey, so you need to keep your feelings. You need to keep your feelings at bay, and you shouldn't show your feelings so much."
You are a very listen. You
I'm
are
emotional, I'm passionate.
Yes, you're Aries. Like that's
You
how you are.
understand? Like, I cry, like my wedding pictures, I'm-
but okay, but that's okay. That's fine. But it's just you have a great balance, a great yin and yang when it comes to
And I just don't
dealing with
let-
your emotions and being diplomatic.
You think so, man?
How?
I just think honestly, I just think that I don't have time to waste on BS. You know, so when somebody comes around me with BS, it's not even the fact that like I'm thinking about being, as my friends say, petty. But it's really just about like getting over the situation and moving forward like real quickly.
You think when people call you petty, it's actually is an indicament to how they feel about themselves?
No, I don't think so, because I'm hella petty. and
I was trying to drive you away from that.
and that's one of my very, I think, unique characteristics.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I think that if you understand me, that petty is actually it's comical.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
is,
and
it is.
it's not done maliciously.
Yeah, no, it took me a while.
You know,
'Cause in
it's
the beginning,
all
like
in jest. Like I'm such a happy person.
Yeah.
That when people say, yo, fix your face, man. Like, I was like, no, I'm not here. Like, I'm thinking about some other stuff that I'm dealing with. Like, and it really has nothing to do with you. So number one, get out of your skin.
Yeah,
Number one. So
true.
don't get ahead of yourself. And like, just understand that when you're around me, it's positive energy. You know, my face may be somewhere else, my mind might be somewhere else, I may be dealing with somebody else. But if I'm messing with you, trust me that you're getting only positive vibes from me. That's all you're gonna get. Even when I'm not around. Like, I only wishing you the best. Now, cross me, I'm not gonna send negative energy your way. You're gonna deal with it in yourself. You just won't get any positive contribution from me.
That's when
I
the
just
buck, that's
I
when
just
the buck
disconnect.
stops. Yeah,
I just disconnect. But I'm not wishing you back. Yo, go ahead, bud. Do your thing. You
But that's when
understand?
people actually get in their feelings when you do disconnect. You're like,
It's
yo,
not-
why are
it's
you
not
around?
exactly, and that's as the term suggests, in their feelings, because they have nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with that person, and that person is reflecting on the fact that they messed up, and ain't nobody want to feel that they messed up. And if you feel that you messed up, you at least want to have somebody to songboard it off, and the person that you want to songboard it off don't have time for you right
Yeah,
now.
basically.
So they more pissed.
I.e. you.
You understand?
Like, yeah.
So they're more pissed, and I understand that's how we're wired.
Yeah,
I understand. So I'm not even going to put myself through that. So when I come into this situation and I have to work myself up for somebody that really, when I analyze it, I'm like, I don't need you.
Yeah,
Like, I really don't.
of course.
So we have reached the fork in the road where you exit, and I continue on my journey. I wish you well.
There's a
Enjoy
lot.
your
Listen,
journey.
man. There's a lot of people that actually. I wish you well. Like, there's a lot of people that actually really need to learn that, man, because like that's just a vital trait for people, because it's less headache for you. Now, that's actually a really good conversation we had. But I kind of want to get back to, or just get into, I should say, that branding guy. I really want to know what was the birth of that branding guy.
Honestly, man, like I was testing this back end social media growth platform that we developed, the software. And the group of guys that developed it, that brought it to me, they're like, try it on your personal account. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not going to try that on my personal account. Are you crazy?
Okay.
I was like, but I will try it. I will create a new account, and then I will use my personal account to show the difference on this one used the software and this one didn't. So you'll see my engagement on my personal account and you'll see my professional account. And I had to come up with a name. right? And back then, I was really about this whole niche. Everything had to be a niche. Like I couldn't do anything if it wasn't specific to something.
Okay.
I was at a time in my life where I was printing T-shirts, I was doing graphic design, I was doing event production, I was managing artists, I was doing everything. And because I once again this curse, like people come to me and like, hey, you'd be good at this, and I'm like, oh, you're right, and I try to do it, and I do it, and I excel at it, I make money at it, but I never really give it 100%, you know. But it's interesting thing is that even at 50%, I'm better than most of the people that are
At 100.
at 100 in
Yeah.
the industry that making money, you know. So I look at it and I'm like, not for me, and I go on to something else that it's more, you know, like driving. And it really, it was at that time that I said, you know what, like I have a passion for building brands and telling a story. And I have a knack for putting that story together and articulating it. And with that ability, I kind of like said, oh, what am I going to do? Like, it has to be branding. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to say that branding guy. And I called someone and I asked them, and they said, like, no, you should go the branding guy. I was like, no, I don't want to be the branding guy. Like, people would expect the branding guy. I was like, no. I was like, I'm that branding guy. I'm that dude. You know, that dude, when you hit that dude, how you feel. That's how I want people to feel. And I was like, yo, that's that branding guy. And I went on. And it's one of those things that, oh, the name's available.
Yeah.
And then you check the domain, oh, the domain's available. And I'm like, oh,
me that.
boom, 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 boom. And then bought all the online assets, you know, dropped a professional picture up there and just started to curate and actually curate a page and tell a story about, number one, if you look at my page and if you go all the way back, it shows me, you know, in professional shoot situations, developing my brand, paying attention to detail, fixing my bow tie, fixing my sleeve. These are the images that I put out there. I have an image with me sitting on a director's chair. These are images that tell a story. I'm planting seeds in your mind about how I would like you to perceive me as an individual, as that branding guy. And as I posted these personal images of just myself, I then started to introduce quotes of inspirational phrases that made me move, that made me think. And then that sprinkled with that was the water that I added to the seeds that I sprinkled.
Nice.
And later on, it flourished into this brand that now people are on the page saying, hey, how can you help me? And it's really great, the tool Instagram, because now I can turn back and I can actually show them what they can do. I can say, just follow this. Like, you don't even need me. Like, really, truly, just kind of like follow what I'm doing. But there's an art to it. And I have seen people attempt to do it.
Do you think that the art is lost, especially when it comes to the flooding of so many marketing and branding companies in Miami alone?
Well, you see what happens is that, and the funny thing about it is that I love when I'm in a room and they have 8 different marketing companies, and
Okay.
I'm eager for them to jump online and see and show people. I wish we had 6 marketing companies here right now, and we can put the 6 marketing companies' online presence up on a board and compare them right away. Because then you would see the individual character come through in the work that represents their brand.
Got it.
Right? So when you put my work up, you're going to see very clean, minimalistic, very strong, bold colors, a more upper class, elitist. These words, I'm not using them in a negative way, but I'm trying to show you that we are trying to elevate your brand. We are shooting for what is not here. We are shooting. We are aspirational. We are taking you and we are elevating you. We are taking you out of the current state that you're in. And I think that people, until they understand or they adopt that as their actual mindset, it's going to be hard for them to duplicate that visually or through a story, because that's not how they think.
Okay,
So when somebody designs a flyer and you're like, "Ugh, this flyer looks like, ugh." Like, but to them, it was like it's a work of art. And to somebody else, it's a work of art because they have connected So I implore people, go ahead, start your marketing company, because it challenges you to think. It challenges you to be able to take something and create a story and be able to get people to buy into that story. And to me, that is the most fulfilling, one of the most fulfilling emotions possible outside of love, is the ability to move people, the ability to get people to see things through your lens
That they've
and
never really
have
seen
them
before.
but have them feel like they're watching it through theirs. But I have created this space. I have set this up for you to feel this way. So I know you're gonna feel this way. You're looking at it and you feel like you're feeling this way because you want to feel this way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. I made you feel this way, right? So it's fun testing stuff. Online you have A/B split test, and but in real life we have it too, and we do it daily. I just enjoy the journey that I'm on, and the gift that I've been given to use my superpower to impact people positively.
So you you actually brought up a really good term when you were eloquently saying your piece, the term and the word love.
Mm.
Man, let me tell you something. Like I said in the beginning of this podcast, there are a lot of things that I definitely admire about you, definitely on the business side. But when it comes to you as a person, you as a human being, and you as a person of love, I definitely admire that about you. And what I'm pretty much trying to get at is that even though you own all these businesses, all these entities, you are a family man first. And I really want to get into that because I am a person that admire you when it comes to that, because I am single. I'm a single man pretty much, and I can't even. Don't clap, bro. Don't do that. Come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Says the married man in the room. 13 years.
So what I'm trying to get at is that with all everything that I got going on right now, I can't even fathom having a family, having a wife, having 2 kids. How
a dog and a cat.
And a dog and a cat, basically. Yeah. Like, I really want to get into that when it comes to you, because, you are just a man that when it comes to the things that you love, the things that you do it at 100%. How do you balance?
Man,
how do you balance work and life?
You just went through all of these pieces of love, of my love puzzle in my life, and like I'm putting dollar signs next to each, and I'm like, if I was Marvel at this time and had the revenue streams that I have now and was single, oh my God. But
you're not. Yeah.
But I would not be in the position that I am in right now. And I believe that wholeheartedly, had it not been for the support of my family.
Absolutely.
So there's no... If that's the reason, then why wouldn't you give it all of your time? Right? So if I have my source of energy, and if I have my source of direction, if I'm my source of motivation, why wouldn't I be at that pool every day? Every opportunity that I can get.
True.
An opportunity to be.
Got it.
To pull that energy.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. Like, I tell my wife all the time, like, she's, and I'm not going to put her on blast, but, I will, because I'm petty. But with love, yeah. I tell her all the time, like, if she gets an opportunity to go out and hang out with the girls, like, she went out and hung out with the girls the other night, and she takes it, and, when I have the opportunity to, or an opportunity presents itself, I kind of like, I dance around wanting to go, and it's not because I can't go or I don't want to go, or it's because honestly I am away from my energy, and I tell them that. and it's an opportunity that I don't need to be away from my energy.
Understandable.
So if I'm plugged into my circuit like a Tesla and I'm charging,
Uh-huh.
and I know that I could get 100% if I just stay plugged in for the night and start tomorrow like gung ho, because that's what's important and that's what I'm about. Why would I unplug my Tesla, drive out, drain the battery, most probably somebody run, hit the car? Like, why would I chance all of that when I'm plugged in? So I don't leave and I stay plugged in because my next day is another day to make the best of the day from as early as I can to as late as I can
Understandable.
with them involved. So when people say, man, like, you know, like, what's your balance? There's no balance. Like, that's my life. Like, you know, that's my business.
Do you
That's
think people are just reading into it way too much? Like, just kind of like just dissecting it to the point where it kind of just this overcomes you?
well, I think until you live it and actually figure it out, it's always going to be this cloud of uncertainty when it comes down to, you know, like, yo, I need to have a balance. I need to be able to go out. No, you don't need to be able to go out. Like, who told you that?
Very true. Yeah, I got you.
Like, all of these rules that we have in our lives, like, who told you that? Like, who is it? Your mom? Was it your dad? Was it your teacher? Was it the policeman? Was it the attorney? Was it the mayor? like who made these rules for you to live your life? Your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody else's life. Your life. And I'm not gonna put myself in a position for you to dictate my happiness based on your rule.
Got it.
That may not work for me.
Got it.
You understand? Like, I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy plugged in overnight. I don't need to be out. People, man, you need to be out. Like, no, I don't. You need to go network. Yeah, I need to go network. But even in that sense, like, I have to pick and choose when I disconnect my Tesla because my next day is more important than that opportunity that I may or may not run into the night of. You know, so I'm just really, as I'm said, like, I'm blessed to have this perspective and the ability to just move with in His light with this utmost faith, like this unconditional, like, trust that He has my back, and everything that I have done, I have prayed on it. It's a decision that I have put in His hands, and that when I have the ability to open my mouth and to vocalize what I would like to do, it's because He has allowed that. And He ain't gonna allow me to get hung out to dry because He got me, right?
And any advices you would give a man who is a person that is in my position, that is a single entrepreneur coming from a married man that would want to find, you know, love, but they're worried about if they do find it, they'll actually derail from their entrepreneur journey. Because I feel like a lot of people, they battle themselves with that. So coming from a person who's been married, how many years?
13.
13 years.
Trece.
What gems you can give a
I
single man?
would say, like, we all on our road to financial freedom, right? We all want this financial independence type of lifestyle. And you know, with that, we have read all these books that said that, you know, we should have 7 pillars. Well, I believe one of those 7 pillars should be a family, and I think that we yes, it's hard because it's a pillar, but a pillar, it's a job, and it's one of those assets that you're developing along your life. And I don't think that we should be looking to replace that pillar in any way. I think that should be one of the first pillars that we even work on, because that foundation is going to be really dictating how successful you are, and not successful in terms of money, because, you know, and around people with a lot of money, they always say money is not everything, and it's not about money, because our happiness really doesn't come from that. It comes from the realization that family unit and that love and that support and that unconditional type of unwavering support from that unit is really all you need, right? And as human beings, we tend to look outside of what's right in front of us, in terms of when we are searching for true happiness. And for somebody who is single on their entrepreneurial life, I would just say, as you go along your journey and you pray on the different decisions that you have to make, also have your eyes open, to identify the signs and the answers to the things that you're praying on and the decisions that you have to make. Because so many times we see the signs and it's not what we want to see, and we ignore it because we are held bent, set in our ways that this is what we have to do. And if that's the approach that you're going to take, enjoy crashing and burning a million times over. And I wish you the best. I hope you have a lot of money, because to fix Tesla is very expensive. So the more you crash and burn and have to rebuild, the longer you're out there. And really and truly, what you need to do is to trust that process, look at the signs, accept the blessing, and learn from all of the lessons that you have an opportunity to be open to along your way. Because everything is a lesson. Everything is an opportunity.
No mistakes, only lessons.
That's right.
Man, like, this has definitely been a fulfilling and amazing conversation, man. I really want to appreciate you. Like, I appreciate you definitely taking the time for this. To wrap up, because we have other things that we have to do. I would love to talk to you forever, but you know what? We can't really do that. You really do believe, and we had a conversation. You really do believe in the whole "no way but up" culture, the "no way but up" mantra, and just pretty much what it's all about. And that really does mean a lot coming from you. But I really want to, ask you, what does "no way but up" mean to you?
Everything that we spoke about today. You see, no way but up is life. You understand? And it doesn't. There's no way that no way but up could escape you if you're trying to do better. And if you want to mess with me, or if you want to be around my circle, or be influenced or impacted by my energy, then that is your mindset. No way but up. So I get up in the morning, it's no way but up. I go to the gym, it's no way but up. I have a conversation with someone, it's no way but up. I have lunch, it's no way but up. I'm speaking here, it's no way but up. Because it's a positive association. And that's what it means to me. It ain't nothing else. It shouldn't mean anything else to anybody.
Yeah, basically.
You understand?
I got you.
Like, I don't want to hear it about, it means it's a cool brand, or it's something like I can wear, or it's like, ain't nothing like that. Like, it's just a mindset. Punto final. Talk done.
Yes, sir. Ace, man, I want to thank you so much for...
Blah, blah.
Ain't no blah, blah, man.
Blah, blah. That's what Jack said. That's what my son does. That's what my son.
Hey, listen, I really want to thank you so much for taking the time to talking and having a great conversation and just, finding out all about you. And where can we find you? Any shameless plugs?
That Branding Guy, Instagram, or thatbrandingguy.com.
That's it.
Holla.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for everybody for listening and watching. Until next time.
Hey.
No way but up.
Blah, blah.